live Q&A to answer questions about the Binge Bye Bye course. So I'm really excited. I've been wanting to do this for so long and finally got to the point where I could do it. So let me move this back just a little bit. All right. So I'm going to kind of hang out here for a second waiting for people to join. So go ahead, drop a comment, tell me what's up, how's your night going? And yeah, I mean, I'll tell you about the course, but I would love questions as well. So let's first talk, what is Binge Bye Bye? It is a 12-week online course that is designed to help an individual who may be struggling with emotional eating, overeating, binge eating, sleep-related eating disorders, compulsive eating, anything that has some lack of control around food. That's what this course is really designed for. So I came to this level because, I've taught Power Foods lifestyle and optimal nutrition for years, and what percentage of people were following through? I was, frustrated because I knew what was happening, but I didn't have, if they weren't working with me on close enough of a level, I couldn't give them the tools that really they needed to succeed, which was more mindset, which was some spirituality and emotions, and bringing those back into nutrition and physiology because it's all interrelated. So, wait, I gotta push this. Close my low battery. I was on that Body Buddies World with my members for an hour and 20 minutes. My battery's kind of, it's giving out on me. So, it's an online course. You can take this from anywhere. What's involved with it? So, every single week, I will be doing a live coaching session just like this where I will be talking to you. I want you interacting, but more importantly, you will have your workbook out. Now, I'll send you your workbook 2 weeks at a time, because if I sent you every week at a time, that'd be hundreds of papers, and I don't want to overwhelm you. So in the discovery session, that's going to be a really critical point because I will be going into one aspect of a principle, a characteristic of yourself. And that discovery session is going to be a lot of me telling you and then prompting you to write down in your workbook certain things. And so it's like really helping you go inside and say, I didn't realize this about myself, or this is my belief about this. So really doing some analysis together. And then off that discovery session, that's our foundation for the week. Every week in this workbook has a lesson. Now, it's 12 weeks, and what else is 12 weeks long? Well, the LDS Church's Addiction Recovery Program. Now, I'm not following their steps to the T, however, much of this does model their strategy. And it's extremely effective, and it's wonderful. So, many of the principles are the same as theirs, but some I've slightly adjusted to be a little more focused specifically to these issues with food. So every single week we have a weekly goal setting chart, and you will set your goals, very specific, laser focused goals of mindset, nutrition, fitness, and spirituality. We focus on those 4 areas together. We're also going to set a goal of how to apply that characteristic that we discovered together on the Sunday evening. Now remember, the discovery sessions, if you can't make it live, they will always be Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you can't make it, you're in a time zone that just doesn't work, that's fine. They're recorded. These Facebook Lives are recorded for later. So all of these will take place in our private Facebook group. That weekly chart, there's going to be a little bit of tracking involved where you track certain behaviors, and not to like a crazy extent of, oh my gosh, you have to micromanage everything, but simply for your awareness of how often certain things are happening so that you start to see that. Okay, so you'll do the weekly, and then you'll have a daily chart. Now the daily, because I know when we get busy and all of these things, the daily stuff can be really problematic, and it's like, I'd run out of time. So I've made it very simple, but it's very critical to do because it's your focus. It's your focus, okay? And so We have the dailies, and then you have the lesson of the week, that focus point. We have our weekly discovery session, and then our private Facebook group. Every day in the group, I will be posting something that requires you to kind of contribute and to share your perspective, and it's really supposed to be an ongoing engagement thread. And so we want to keep the conversation going, revolving around that characteristic that we're all working on that week. So it's going to be this step-by-step progression thing. What I don't want people to think is that this is 12 weeks, no binging. What? No. It's really not even about that. This is about looking inside, because we know this. Anything where we're drawn toward food, on that level of it's giving us something that perhaps we lack on an emotional, psychological level, that can, really be, we may not even be aware of it. So that's our first step, is awareness. In fact, that's what week 1 is. And so it's very much mindful of emotions, thought patterns. It's very mindful of spirituality. And fourth is physiology. Now, a lot of people have asked me, so are they like meal plans? What exactly are we following? And every single week there will be a principle. There will be a principle that we work on. We will not follow meal plans. We will not. Okay, now if you want to, that's fine. If you're perhaps working in my membership site, that's fine. But as a group, this isn't a goal of, we're not going to binge so we can lose weight. That's not the goal of this course. The goal of this course is a little bit of, number 1, awareness. Number 2, beginning to reprogram the way we're thinking, our thought patterns, our emotions, the triggers. It is so possible to change the state of the way we function within our mind and our heart. But it all starts with awareness and practice. And it's not by stopping doing something. It usually happens from integrating so much of something else that it naturally crowds the other things out. I've seen this happen in my own life. I've seen this happen in so many people's lives. And so reprogramming the subconscious through the concentration on the goodness of things. We learn how to have all these different mindset tools. We learn about personal hygiene on a mental level, right? About tools that, okay, so that stressful situation happened. How, we have a tool now, how to work around that. Most people just are surviving life, right? No wonder we have addictions and things we turn to, because we don't know any other way to cope, okay? And so this whole course is about really learning how to think, learning how to train our brains, learning how to balance our bodies physiologically, because is that an important aspect? Absolutely. And by the end of the 12 weeks, we will be full-blown in Power Food Lifestyle mode, if they're not already. But I'm not expecting people to start out that way. So you don't need to have even read my book. You don't need to know anything about nutrition. You don't need to commit to a meal plan or not even binging. I'm not asking you to even stop eating sweets. Week 1, as a heads up, is all about vegetables. All we do is work on vegetables. So the workbook, like I said, I will send you in 2-week intervals. And it'll come as a PDF. I want everyone printing it, and then you're going to do a 3-hole punch. You need to have a binder that it goes in. And this is going to be a really precious workbook for you to keep afterward. You'll be able to come back and reflect on certain things. This is going to change the whole way that you live your life. This is going to take your energy around you up. This is going to take your positivity, your optimism, the way you view life, the way you view people. It's going to change everything. And so that's really what this is. There are payment plans available. You can either do just the workbook in the Facebook group, or if you'd like to upgrade to the coaching calls with me, that's a little bit higher price. But if you break it down by 12 weeks, it's really not that much. There's payment plans, like I said, or you can do a one-time payment. So I will close this down at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Sunday, on September 18th, because that's when the first discovery session will be. So, register. If you still have questions, please send me a Facebook message, text me, whatever you need to kind of, I know this is the number one thing I have heard from every person who's already enrolled. I've heard it from everyone. I'm so scared. I'm so nervous. but I'm ready. I need a change. I need something new. And if you're saying that, if you're saying you're terrified, perfect. You are ready for this, because when we are scared, that means we know a change is coming and we don't know what to expect. And so it's that unknown, but you're in the space that you're ready. So bingebyebye.com, that's where it's going to take you to the video. And Kelly, you say it's actually really affordable. Yay, I'm so glad. I really try to make my stuff affordable. Like, I'm not trying to get rich, and I certainly have not gotten rich off all I do at Body Buddies. My goal is to change people. And here's another thing I've learned is, if I don't ask for money, what you paying money does is it invests you. It invests you in the time and the energy to actually apply these things, because I want you to change your life. That's what I'm about, okay? I'm not just here to collect a paycheck, okay? Jenny says, how much time should I set aside each day for focusing on this? So our weekly discovery session, Sundays, will be 1 hour, which you could either do it live with me or watch it another time. You'll set your weekly goals after that. So your weekly goal setting, so I would say an hour. You know what, I'll probably integrate the weekly goal setting. I'll probably guide you through that in the discovery session. And then just the daily focus piece, no more than 10 minutes. If it takes you more than 10 minutes, you're spending way too long on it. Because I need it to be something very just matter of fact. This is what you do. Most of it you actually do at the beginning of the day, because it's all about the nodes in your brain. If you guys have heard me talk a lot, it's all about what happens in the first 30 minutes of your day. So you'll do that in the first 30 minutes. It doesn't take you 30 minutes. And then there's just a little bit of like, how did I do at the end of the day? All it is check boxes. That's it. All I have to do is check. Did you do that? Did you do that? Okay, good night. And it's not about perfect behavior. Like, I want to see errors. I want to see, oh shoot, okay? And that's where the Facebook group comes in. And that's where it's like, great, let's talk about this. So, okay, so you ate the whole bag of Oreos. Or, okay, so you woke up and found yourself eating a peanut butter sandwich in the middle of the night. Or, okay, so you purposely went to the vending machine and you bought 2 cookies even though you just had a great meal. Let's talk about it. Why? Let's start to address what's going on. And as we get good at talking about situations as they happen, we get good at saying, okay, now we are so aware of how that happened, and we talk about it enough, guess what starts to happen? All of a sudden, you can identify it when it's happening. And all of a sudden, you are back in control. And you're like, oh, this was the beginning to the trigger point that led to this emotion that led to my doing that. Where before, I just felt like I was helpless and I was eating and I was like, oh, I don't know why I can't do this. All of a sudden you're like, I realize what's happening. So, you know, that's really it. I know some of you guys have joined in later. Amelia, hi. Michelle, hello. So yeah, I mean, I've talked basically about it, so I'm not going to necessarily repeat it all. But other questions, definitely post them right here. What do you want to know about it? Who is it for? How is this going to help? It's going to change the whole nature of how you think, feel, your energy that you take into your day, because we'll be focusing so much on that energy. Okay. So, what else? I mean, can you do it and not be involved in the Facebook group? I'd really say don't do that. The Facebook group and that interaction is everything. Hi, Joseph. How are you? And so if you're going to do this, I need you to commit to spending some time in the Facebook group. Not like crazy. I don't want you to obsess. My goodness. But, you know, consider like, that's where a place I'm going to go every single day and just look around and, you know, what conversations are going on, and definitely the discovery sessions. Jenny says, I'm curious why you are doing this course. What was the catalyst? Aha, good question. So it was in June, the beginning of June, and I had disbanded my bodybuilding team 2 months previous, and I was sick and tired of seeing people come to me wanting to compete when they just had an eating disorder they were trying to beat, straight up. And I was sick and tired of it because, quite frankly, real talk, it reminded me of me. And so I saw that and I'm like, look, this is not the way. And I think my situation was extremely fortunate. I was able to break through the binge eating in order to compete. Well, guess what? I think had a huge impact on that was my brother's taking of his life, because what he said to me 2 weeks before he took his life, I wanted to compete, and he told me, he said, Christy, you can do anything you put your mind to. And that first competition I did because he believed in me when nobody else did. And so that was the impetus to my changing, but I don't know that many people have something so strong as to compel them to override every compulsion that they've dealt with and to overcome every addiction. Now, in my case, I swung from a very extreme to a very extreme. And for me to find this now beautiful middle ground where I live and function, it's been quite miraculous. So at the beginning of June, I had disbanded my bodybuilding team. I'm like, what direction am I going here? Like, I love my people. I know Power Foods Lifestyle works. I'm like, and I really just took a step back in the summer. Some of you guys may know that I coached like 3 people all summer. I went part-time. I was like, I need to figure this out. And so I was really trying to spend a lot of time thinking. I did a lot of business coaching, talking with different mentors as they try and help you find like, okay, where's your real passion and things like this. And every single time it came back to the girl that I used to be, and that knowing what I know now, would I give anything to go back in time and sit down with her and say, honey buns, you're not messed up, you're not screwed up, but I have some very important things to teach you. Buckle up. And so then I went camping with my family. We go to the Palisades every single year. It's down by Manti, Utah, for those of you guys who know about it. It's just a little cute lake, and we all camp. All my siblings are all married, and some of them have kids, and so we all get together. And I knew as I drove out there, I was like, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book while I'm out here. I have a feeling. And as I sat by the lake, and I had my notebook, and I didn't want to bring my computer because I didn't have a charger, and it was going to die in like 2 hours, So I just wrote in a notebook, and my first thought when I was writing, I was like, I don't want to write a whole book in a notebook and then have to type it up. And so I was like, you know what, well, let's just start to write some principles. Let's work off that. And it turned into a workbook. And I wrote this whole workbook, and all summer long I had been studying addiction. I had really started looking at the LDS Church's 12-step recovery program. And I had just become fascinated with those videos. On Sundays, I would just push the playlist of video 1 through video 12, and I would just watch them. And every Sunday, I would just watch them. And I know of many people, very close people to me, who struggle with addiction, whether it be substance abuse, whether it be gambling. I mean, addiction in general is very much the same across the board. It's just a matter of, being out there, right? So the thing that I want to share is, as I was making this workbook, all I was doing was writing down all the principles that I have learned and picked up and that have changed me over the years. And I just recorded these, and I was like, this is the workbook that I would give to myself if I could go back in time. And I would say, sweetheart, it's time. It's time to face the real things, and we're gonna get real. And you have some emotional reprogramming to do because you're a bit of a pessimist, and you have some severe insecurities that we need to get through. We need to face those things. We need to address what really is going on. And I wish I could have given this workbook to myself. All these things I've picked up, and different mentors, different people, different seminars, different we never just assimilate information in one sitting. It's piece by piece by piece, and that's how we grow. That's how we evolve as people. And so a lot of times the people I work with, they kind of expect themselves to just change, right? And then they get frustrated when they don't. So that's what I want all of you guys to think about, is change in general is not about expecting yourself to flip on a dime and go 180 degrees the other direction. Instead, number one, we have compassion for ourselves. And I know that's like super weird to think about. Like, wait, I should like love myself for being imperfect and flawed, and maybe I'm insecure, and maybe I handle things bad, maybe I have an anger problem, whatever those things, and be compassionate. That's our starting point. You don't motivate from a place of, you suck. No, when did I get anyone anywhere, right? No. We motivate from a place of, all right, I love you. Here's where you're at. My low battery's coming on. Okay. And that's our starting point. And I've observed this in coaching so many people is we can't just nose to the grindstone and willpower ourselves to change our bodies. It doesn't work like that, guys. No, it has to come from a point of a deeper, why am I doing this? And when we're experiencing those things that take us away from the strategies that we know they work to change our body, yet we're not following through. We're grabbing that handful here and we're eating this. The problem is, number one, we're not stopping to step back and say, let's assess what's going on here. That's our starting point. That's when we start to say, I realize, okay, this situation, what was I feeling? Okay, the situation and the behavior came because of an emotion I was feeling. What was that emotion? Oh, okay, now where do emotions come from? Well, they come from thoughts, right? They ride on the tail codes. They're like thought emotion. They come really quick. But anyway, then we realize the emotion, then we realize the thoughts, and then where do thoughts come from? Well, thoughts come from life and situations and circumstances, and we can't change life, right? We can't change life. So where do we have power in this cycle of life to thoughts, to emotions, to behavior? Where do we have control? Where do we have any ability to say that's where we deviate, and that's where we start to make a change and go a different direction? Now, this is my personal experience with what I've done with myself. It didn't start with changing emotion and behavior that was programmed to emotion. For me, that took time. Over 4 years now, I have seen that change. If I experience a particular emotion, I have a different behavior. But that was not immediate. Where it had to start was here. The thoughts that led to the emotions. Does that make sense? So if I couldn't change the fact that I would act a certain way, that I would overeat or binge eat or, go to the food because I was feeling a certain way, I couldn't change that initially. So I had to change the thing that was spurring the emotion, which was my thoughts. And that's where some very important tools came in. I started to learn about something called reframing. I started to learn about the power of optimism. I started to learn about how the nodes in our brain in the first 30 minutes of the day are triggered, and they're pulled in the direction that our thoughts are in that first 30 minutes. Over time, I picked this up, and I've met with some incredible mentors and beautiful people because of what they've taught me, and those little aha moments that over time have aggregated and changed me. You know what? They didn't change me. I changed myself because I applied tools over time, and I practice. Fall down, practice, fall down, practice. And over time, those fall downs aren't as severe. And then over time, you look back and you're like, hey, I'm not falling down anymore. I have little things here, but it's wow, time and evolution, because I'm focusing so much on what I need to be doing rather than staying stuck in my cycle saying I'm helpless. Guys, all of this starts with the power of hope. All you need to begin this course with me is hope. All we're doing together is exploring, okay? I'm not going to change you. I can't change you, okay? Even God doesn't change us. He gives us the power and the belief and the tools to change ourselves. That's the beauty, the miracle of human life. And so it's gonna be pretty cool. Jenny said, you've said you may not offer this course again. There are people I love who need this but aren't ready now. Will you consider doing another course later? I don't know. I can't guarantee anything. I know this is going to be challenging for me. This is going to draw deep into the roots of my past compulsions. You guys have seen me on some of these Facebook Lives. This is an emotional thing, but I'm willing to go through this journey for you all. And thank you, Joseph. I'm willing to go through this one time, and depending on how it goes for me, and what kind of an outcome it's going to have, that will determine if I do it again. And sometimes people aren't ready, and that's okay. And what I know about life is this: when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When we're ready for the answer, the questions come, or vice versa. I may have said that wrong. So that's kind of it, guys. So any other questions about the course? I mean, remember, I'm not coming at you saying I'm going to use all these therapeutic techniques. I don't do that. I'm going to share with you what I've learned, what I know. I'm going to help you. I'm going to be a sounding board for you to think. I'm going to be your friend through this. I'm going to be that support, that cheerleader. I'm going to ask you hard questions. Um, and so that's really what this is about. I'm going to teach you physiological balancing of your body because that is a critical part of this. There's a huge aspect of blood sugar control, appropriate caloric intakes at certain times in the day, and we're going to be working on that week by week by week. So Beth, you're so welcome. Thank you for joining this. The last thing I'll just share with you guys is, trust me, I know this is hard. I know it is. And it kind of sucks to be like, man, I have this huge thing in my life that's holding me back. And I'm sick of it holding me back, but I'm terrified to face it. And it's a monster, you know? I know it's scary. But the biggest thing you have to remember is you're not alone. We don't do this alone. Not just with the people around us, but man upstairs. And that any opportunity we have to grow ourselves, any opportunity we have to become a little bit more optimistic, a little bit more believing. Since when did having more hope ever hurt someone? Think about that. Since when did believing in oneself hurt them? Now I'm sure you guys could tell me stories about, well, this one time this person believed they could do this and they started a business and then they went bankrupt. And did that person come out better and refined and learning and having more knowledge and wisdom? So is that truly a failure? That's the thing, guys. Society doesn't teach us how to look at failure. Do you know what? I've had so many business coaches finally ram into my brain. Failure is beautiful. Failure is feedback. Failure is only a bad thing when you don't learn from it and you plop down and you're like, poor me, life sucks. No. Failure is saying, okay, that method didn't work, so let's recalibrate. It's okay to experience emotion around it, but then let's come back. Let's step away from it. Silver lining, Michelle, that's exactly right. Sorry, it's Mabel, but I know it's Michelle. And really, it takes a little bit of maturity. It also takes good friends. And guess what? Putting yourself and surrounding yourself with the people who are going to help build this energy field around you, this light around you, is really critical. Beth says it's the struggles and the challenges that make us stronger. Absolutely. And when we really step away to say, what's my personal view on the purpose of life and the trials and the struggles and the opposition? Do I have a belief in the purpose of that? And if you don't, I would ask you to start asking yourself those questions, and perhaps you need to do some digging. And I'd be happy to share mine, not here and now, but later. That is a very critical part of having hope as a person, is saying there's purpose in challenge, there's purpose in trial and struggle. My alarm just went off telling me to go eat my meal 6. I can wait. But I am going to take a drink. It's water, trust me. You want to see inside? You're all like, what is she drinking? Okay, so challenge your thoughts, challenge your beliefs, challenge your doubts, challenge your fears. Stand up to yourself and say, who are you to think you're not good enough? Instead of believing the lies you're telling yourself, it's just a script that you've come to believe over time. Challenge it. Tonight when you go to bed, you close your eyes and you think of the most prominent thought that's been on your mind all day. And many people, it's something like, oh, I'm a nobody, or nobody likes me, or I'm not lovable, or I screw everything up, I'm useless, I'm worthless. These are things I hear from my clients a lot of the time. No, we're going to reprogram that thing. But here's the thing. Tonight, I do want you to think about, what's the biggest phrase that's been in your head? What have you been telling yourself all day? And I want you to think, I release that. I totally close your eyes like I'm showing what you're going to do. I release that thought that I'm ugly. I release the thought. Here's an example. Did you guys know this about me? Okay, one person watching this knows this. Did you know that I have always been very, very, very insecure of my forehead? I have a pretty big forehead. In fact, let me show you this. I have widow's peaks that come really high, and I have always, always been very insecure of that. And do you know what I have recently embraced? And I've started pulling my hair back because I like pulling my hair back. And I'm not going to let my own fears of other people's judgments or thoughts hold me back from being who I want to be. And do you know what? When we approach life like that, there's a new power that comes in because we stop living in fear of other people. We start living for us, not in a conceited or egotistical or cocky way, in a confidence way. There's a huge difference. And when we live confidently, guess what we have the power to do? We have the power to be of value in this world. And guess where happiness comes from is being of value to other people and being able to be of service and make other people's lives better. Maybe that's in business, maybe that's in relationships, maybe that's in service or religion, or you name it. That's where real happiness comes from. So, all right, guys. Beth says I have one of those cups, but I use it to water my plants. Oh, awesome. I wish I had plants. Okay, any other questions about the course? To see the course, you put in your email on the bingebyebye.com, and then you can see all the breakdown of the course, and then scroll down, and then that'll get you through to the enrollment page. There's payment plans. If you need to work out something different that you don't see, seriously, why not reach out to me and say, Christy, like, here's where I'm at. I need this. I want this. I can't afford it. When did it ever hurt to talk to someone? So reach out, tell me what's holding you back. Let's get you off the fence one way or the other. If it's not for you right now, then it's not for you right now. That's okay. And we'll applaud those people who take this journey. And I'm sure come the first week of December, at the end of this, we're gonna have some incredible stories to tell, and I can't wait. I'm about to reveal a lot of the stories that just happened with our last 8-week challenge. I'll be blogging about them all next week. Incredible stories. All these groups that I get to be a part with online. I'm so thankful to Facebook for developing Facebook Live. This is a beautiful tool that's allowed me to reach so many more of you and to feel a little bit more connected, a little more intimate in this gathering. Even though I can't see you, I can feel you, and your comments help a ton, your little cute hearts and likes and all that. I love it. So, all right, guys, I think I'm toast for the day. I've been going since 4 a.m. I'll answer this question. Kelly says, it's really hard, especially here in Utah, where and who to turn to when you are wanting to change your body. You have to trust that after hearing different things, that these people aren't going to mess you up more, mind, or that you are wasting your time. I know this isn't about training your body, but it is about change. Sure, absolutely. And you know what, Kelly? I would just encourage you to study my work. That's the biggest thing, go watch some of my YouTube videos, go listen to my podcast. I can't convince you to believe me until you listen to me enough and you get that I am extremely about you. I'm an extremely successful coach because of my approach with the physiology and the emotions and the mindset. But here's the thing, I'm only as successful as my clients allow me to be. I'm only as successful as they apply what I teach them. I mean, if you're looking for results, then maybe that would be, maybe you need a different course of mine, or you need one-on-one coaching. This is a reprogramming. This is a mindset mastery course. So the physiology is about balancing the body. If you're wanting body transformation, I would say you need to look at my one-on-one coaching, which, I train competitors, I train high-level aesthetics, things like that. So I would just encourage you, study my work. Go spend some time on my podcast, on my YouTube channel, talk to people who are in my tribe, and they'll tell you what I'm about, and they'll tell you their experience, and that's the best way to really know about anyone. And I know what you mean. Here in Utah especially, I'm very aware of, and I'm in the fitness circle. I know who these people are you're probably talking about, and it's tricky. So trying to type before you go, that's what I think I was trying to ask. Oh, okay. Hopefully that answered your question, Kelly. All right, my nose is about to drip. I don't want to be Niagara Falls over here. That's super embarrassing. You guys always make me cry on Facebook Lives. I hate it. It's not dramatized, I promise. I can't cry on command. So, all right. Are we good? Any other questions, guys? There's still 9 of you watching this, so come on. I know you guys are getting antsy. What are you going to ask? Is everyone even on their phones? Did you know 80% of traffic to websites and social media is mobile now? No one even uses their computers. I do. I use my laptop all the time. So, anything else? I'll sit here and smile at myself. All right, I think we're good. Okay, I will answer comments later if you guys want to post it on the feed. I'll come back in later, probably tomorrow because I gotta go to bed because I train at 5 a.m. So, you guys are wonderful. Have an amazing night. Power your body, one meal, one workout, one day at a time.